Do you think Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez?
Yeah, I think he can win.
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to win, but I think he can win.
So
but
he's
going to have to box a brilliant fight.
Joe Rogan couldn't even settle on a pick for the upcoming fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez.
Crawford and Canelo.
What do you think of that?
Personally, I'm a big Crawford fan, so I'm going to lean his way. My only concern is just the size. Like, it didn't look like Terrence's power transferred in the last fight, so
With
now he's coming
Majumov?
up some more. You know what I mean?
Part of the problem with that is Majumov is really good.
Yeah,
he's really fucking good.
I mean, but I just think Crawford is. It's weird to say against Canelo, but I think he's the better boxer, and I think he's the guy who can make the better in-fight adjustments if Canelo doesn't kill him.
It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that.
What do you think?
I don't know. You know, it's a big jump to go from 54, which was a step up from 47, right?
Now
so it
he's
goes to
going
54, and now he's going to
68.
68. That's so much weight.
A lot of weight.
But Terrence is, I think he's the best switch hitter since Hagler.
With his podcast diving into all things fight-related, even he admitted that this one has him genuinely torn. He called the weight jump a massive challenge, and just like that, fans were hooked. When even Rogan seems lost for an answer, you know the fight is something special. With just weeks left before fight night, the buzz is unreal. Boxing fans haven't been this split since Mayweather fought Pacquiao, and now it's happening all over again, but with Crawford and Canelo center stage.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a great fight. You're dealing with two all-time greats. Crawford's one of the best switch hitters, I think, since Marvin Hagler, and one of the most skillful boxers alive. And then you have Canelo, who probably isn't the same guy as he was just like a few years ago.
Right.
But still one of the greatest of all time. Still has brutal knockout power. You know, I mean, if you go back to like some of his, you know, like more impressive fights from a few years ago, like the Amir Khan KO, you know, like the Billy Joe Saunders KO, like those KO, like he's probably not that guy anymore.
Yeah.
But he's still young enough that he's still like pretty close to his prime and one of the best of all time.
The idea of Crawford going from 147 all the way to 168 has raised a lot of eyebrows, including Rogan's. It's a massive jump, and not everyone thinks his body can handle it. On his podcast, Rogan wasn't alone in his concern. Guest John Rallo, a seasoned MMA coach, leaned toward Crawford, but was also worried about whether Crawford's power would hold up at the new weight. It's one thing to dominate at welterweight and junior middleweight. It's another to stand toe-to-toe with someone like Canelo, who's been a powerhouse at super middleweight for years.
Uses strength and conditioning. There's very few fighters that just train using skill, just train skills. Like George St. Pierre did that for a certain period of his career.
I wonder if there's anybody left in boxing who trains just using the gym skills. There were a lot of them when I was first involved in the sport who would never have touched a weight.
Right.
You know, they
they
subscribed totally to the notion that that was negative.
Right. And the worst case, I mean, they definitely did calisthenics, but that was it. It was just body weight exercises, you know, which brings us to Crawford, which I think is really interesting. The Crawford-Canelo fight.
Beyond interesting. Fascinating.
Fascinating. Because how does Crawford compete with that size? And, you know, we have to recognize, okay, well, when Canelo fought Floyd, it was 152 pounds, right? So he had dropped down, which was a struggle for him, which is why Floyd was so brilliant in getting him to go down to 152, because he knew he would be drained.
Canelo, after all, is known for breaking opponents down, sometimes quite literally. The guy shattered Billy Joe Saunders' orbital bone and knocked Amir Khan into the shadow realm, and he's never even been dropped in his career. That kind of durability, mixed with heavy hands and ring experience, makes him a monster at 168. Crawford, on the other hand, is a master of adapting mid-fight. People who followed his career know that he has a special ability to switch styles, keep opponents guessing, and find solutions on the fly.
What happened when Canelo moved up from 168 to light heavyweight to fight Dimitri Bivol?
It was too much.
Okay, but look, Canelo went back and it's still the same.
Right.
He's still the champ.
He got the respect then.
He got the respect because he tried it. But if he would have beat him, man, the world would have changed boxing. All right? But he did it. But he went back to his division and said, you know what? I tried it, but I'm back and I'm still a champion. Terence Crawford would not lose anything, even if he loses the fight to Canelo Alvarez. Because going back, hey, that's not my division. I'll go back to 54 and I'll still be the king.
Boxing great Roy Jones Jr. believes this could be one of those rare situations where a smaller but more skilled fighter manages to outshine a bigger, stronger one. He hinted that Crawford might just be that kind of special talent, but not everyone shares that optimism. David Benavidez, who's been itching for a fight with Canelo himself, pointed out how tough the Mexican champion is at this weight. According to him, the size and pressure Canelo brings could slowly wear Crawford down. Then there's Carl Frampton, who's all in on Crawford. He thinks the American's technical skill and mental sharpness could prove too much for a version of Canelo that, in his view, has slowed down a bit in recent years. Crawford's ability to break fighters down strategically and to adjust at every stage gives him a real shot, Frampton says.
I think it's a great fight. It may not be the best fight in the world to watch, you know. I think that for Crawford to win, it'll have to be a boring fight. I think he uses distance and his movement, but I think Canelo's feet are a little bit slower now than they used to be. I think Crawford wins. I said it when he beat Earl Spence and everybody laughed at me. I said it that long ago, and I genuinely believe that Crawford wins.
But a major concern for many is how quickly Crawford has bulked up. Veteran trainer Abel Sanchez, who guided Gennady Golovkin through battles with Canelo, is skeptical. He pointed out that Canelo's rise to super middleweight was slow and measured, giving his body time to adjust naturally. Crawford's jump has been quick, and Sanchez fears that the added weight might slow him down in the later rounds, where Canelo thrives.
He does very well, and I think he wears Crawford out and wins a going-away decision. Crawford is an all-time great, obviously, but there's weight divisions, you know?
Andy Ruiz Jr., who's shared rounds with Canelo, sees both sides. He recognizes how slick and unconventional Crawford is in the ring, but ultimately leans toward Canelo. The Mexican's experience at the higher weight classes and his ability to absorb punishment while dishing out serious damage might give him the edge if the fight goes long.
Well, all I know is that if you were in a Canelo Crawford card, that card would be a million times. It's still an amazing card, but you would have added a lot. Who wins, Canelo or Crawford?
I think it's gonna be a good fight, man. I'm going for Canelo, of course. You know, he's the Mexican warrior as well. But Crawford, man, you can't neglect him or you can't underestimate him as well. You know, he has a lot of skills, a lot of movement. He's a lefty as well. That's what Canelo has trouble with. I think it's gonna be an amazing fight, man. I just can't wait. And
Regis Prograis raised an interesting point. He reminded fans that Canelo is actually younger than Crawford, even though many think of the Mexican as the veteran. At 35, Canelo may have more miles on the clock, but he's still in his physical prime. Prograis thinks Crawford, despite his ring IQ and talent, might find the physical difference hard to overcome.
You know, I think that Crawford has the ability to outbox Canelo. You gotta look at it. And then Canelo's older. Crawford has the ability, but he's small, you know, and he can look bigger Crawford could look bigger in the weigh-ins and all that stuff, but it's always a difference. When you get in that fight with somebody, you can tell. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel fought him, the twin, he fought Crawford, and in all the stuff, the weigh-ins and the press conference, Jamel looked like the bigger man. You know, his head, his neck, everything looked bigger, but when they got in the fight, you can tell. You can see who really was the bigger man. And I think that's the same thing. Crawford is putting on weight, but it's not weight. Like Canelo had the weight already. He doesn't have to put on muscle. He doesn't have to do that. He's already big like that. But I think that Crawford does have the style. He does have the style to beat him. If you look at the people that beat him or gave him troubles, Irislan, De Lara, Austin Trout, Floyd, and Bivol, you know, they gave him trouble and stuff like that. And Skull moved around a little bit too. So I think that Crawford has that, but I don't know how Crawford is gonna respond when he gets hit. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel was undisputed at 154, and Canelo hit him and shit. Jamel was like, hell no. Jamel took a knee, you know. So it's a big difference. And Crawford had that one fight at 154, and he didn't, you know, Madrimov would touch him up a little bit. And this is nowhere close to Madrimov. You talk about Canelo. Now, if it was just another bigger guy, I would go with Crawford. But you talk about this might be I mean, people might kill me for it, but well, not really, but this might be the best Mexican fighter ever.
However, Buster Douglas, the man who shocked the world by knocking out Mike Tyson, knows a thing or two about upsets. He believes Crawford's quickness and high-level strategy could help him pull off another boxing shocker. Douglas pointed to how Crawford outsmarts his opponents as a key reason why he can't be counted out, regardless of weight.
September 13th, Canelo versus Crawford. Crawford's making up, move up in weight. What do you think about Crawford?
I'm going to Crawford.
You got Crawford?
Crawford's going to do it. It's going to be a good fight.
Yeah.
When Crawford's going to get the edge. Crawford's he's that man.
Any advice on him, this moment? You've had that moment against Mike Tyson, that seizing that moment. What kind of advice would you give him?
I think he's going to be well prepared. He's looking great. You know, when I see him in the papers and reading in the magazines.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great fight, but I think Crawford's going to come out ahead.
Sports personality Stephen A. Smith didn't shy away from throwing in his opinion. He feels like Crawford's movement, his ability to stay outside and control distance, will be the key. If Crawford keeps the fight at his pace and avoids brawling, Smith sees a clear path for him to outbox Canelo and take the win.
You got a love for boxing.
Yes, love boxing.
Who gonna win the fight, man? That's coming up, the biggest
Crawford.
fight in boxing.
Crawford.
Huh?
Crawford. I'm not hesitating. Crawford. I'm not even hesitating. Crawford.
You gonna stand on that all the way to September 13th?
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Alvarez. But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
That's right.
When I think about Canelo, one of the things that I don't like about Canelo, despite his greatness, and a neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud.
Right.
It's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yeah.
That's not beating Crawford.
Israel Madrimov thinks this fight could go the full 12 rounds. He's not sure how Crawford will handle the physical toll of 168 pounds. But if he manages the weight well, Madrimov sees a real possibility of a win on points. The danger, of course, is whether Crawford's body will hold up against the pressure and power that Canelo brings late in fights.
Perspective, having fought Terence, him now fighting Canelo, moving up 2 more weight classes to fight a lot bigger guy.
Сейчас всем интересно вот это бой, потому что они занимают паунд-по-паунду. Кроуфорд, у Кроуфорда есть высокий IQ, и обоих стойках он может боксировать, он можно давить и бегать, и даже ближний бой тоже может. Поэтому мне тоже интересно, если он не набирает лишний вес, может тоже выиграть это. Есть шанс.
It's not just fighters who are watching closely. Hollywood's even getting involved. Denzel Washington, a longtime boxing fan, stayed neutral but praised both men for their grit and competitive drives. He's more interested in seeing how their mental strength plays out than trying to guess who wins. For Washington, the human element, their discipline and focus, is what makes this such a fascinating battle.
You talked about how you could throw your hands. I know you're a big boxing fan. Crawford, Canelo coming up. Who you guys got? Don't take the easy road out on me. Give me your prediction.
Listen. In our gym, Crawford sits right there, and Canelo sits right here. That's why you play the game. We're gonna find out. But I'll say this, and I love Crawford. Canelo's a bigger man. He ain't never been hit by a man like this, but Crawford's a great, great fighter. One of the greatest I've ever seen. I love Crawford. I try to be like him. I love Canelo. I can't call it. I won't call it.
When is the fight?
13th.
September 13th.
Who you like?
Okay. I'm going with Canelo, man.
He's just, because he's a bigger dude, I don't know, but Crawford's a great fight. We're going to find out. I'm glad Crawford finally has a fight.
Andy Lee is also intrigued by how even this matchup is. He acknowledges that Canelo's natural size advantage can't be ignored, but he's been impressed by how well Crawford has adapted physically and stylistically as he's moved up. Lee is expecting a tactical back and forth kind of fight where small details will matter a lot more than brute force.
Over in Las Vegas, Canelo Alvarez takes on Terence Crawford. What are your thoughts on that sort of super fight, I guess you could say?
Yeah, well, the fight.
very hard to pick a winner, isn't it? Very hard to pick a winner because, like every good fight, no one really knows the skill and competitiveness and ring craft of Crawford, or you can say the same things about Canelo, but just he has that size. And but I see Crawford in New York when Hamza fought Berlanga, and he doesn't look too small anymore. He's filled out a lot. He looks quite big. It's a great fight. I think they're equally matched in skill, and it's going to be one of the best fights. It's going to, like, when you see how skillful both fighters are, the tricks they have, and how they fight. It should be one of the best fights of the last, I don't know how many years. It should be up there with the best fights we can remember.
Then there's John Ryder, who actually faced Canelo in the ring. He's cautious about Crawford's chances. He respects the American's ability to win titles across several divisions, but says jumping to 168 is a different beast. He knows how strong Canelo is firsthand, and he believes Crawford needs to avoid standing still, use lateral movement, and maybe follow a game plan similar to what Dimitri Bivol did when he outboxed Canelo. Roberto Duran also gave his take. He believes Crawford's best chance lies in keeping Canelo off balance. It's not about trying to dominate every round, but about staying unpredictable. If Crawford can blend slick boxing with quick bursts of offense and never let Canelo find a rhythm, Duran sees a real opportunity for him to make history.
¿Qué tiene que hacer Crawford para ganar la pelea contra Canelo subiendo de peso, como tú subiste de peso muchas veces?
Es una pelea muy dura, pero depende de cómo venga el hombre. Tiene que voltear y pararse, confundirlo. Te paga, sale y él piensa que tú te vas a parar y le boxea. El otro asalto, él piensa que tú le vas a boxear y te le paga, entonces lo tiene confundido.
Meanwhile, Devin Haney sees things a little differently. While he has plenty of respect for Crawford's skill, he thinks the difference in size and strength will be too much. Haney doesn't rule out a Crawford win, but he sees it as an uphill battle that would require a nearly flawless performance.
It's a fight that we all been wanting to see. Bud has the skills. He got the discipline, IQ to win, but Canelo has all that with the size. So I think it's a good fight. I'm happy that Bud got the fight. My dad was the one that told him that he should take the fight. Yeah. Bud, I don't know if y'all haven't seen it. Bud came out and said that my dad was the one that told him to fight Canelo a long time ago.
Really?
So yeah.
Like in a private conversation, he just recommended
he told him,
that.
like, man, the fight for you is Canelo. And really? and Bud looked at my dad like yeah, but
now it's here.
Yeah, no, it's here now. So I think it's a good fight for boxing.
Is your dad picking Bud to win that fight?
Of course, yeah. And I'm picking Bud too. But will it be an easy task? No. But if anybody could do it, I think Bud can.
You think he should?
There's something truly rare about a fight like this. Not just the hype, but how equally matched these two are when you look at the bigger picture. Fans, experts, fighters, trainers, no one can agree. And maybe that's the magic of it. When two pound-for-pound greats collide, there are no easy predictions. Whether it ends with a dramatic knockout or a close decision, whether it's Canelo's power or Crawford's precision that wins the day, this showdown has everything. The weight, the legacy, the contrasting styles, the sheer stakes. It's why fans will pack Allegiant Stadium and millions more will watch from home.